It is now 7 o'clock. We will begin the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting for October 9th, 2014. We do have a quorum here tonight. The prayer will be by Alderman Waldron, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Alderman Broker.
Stand. Let us pray. Almighty God, we come to you with bowed heads and humble hearts. Thank you, O great God, for giving us your Son, Jesus. Let us pray for our brave men and women that is serving our country around the world and here at home. Thank you for the freedom that we all enjoy in this great country. Guide and give us strength in these difficult economic times. We pray to keep us all safe this year. In Jesus' name, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I hope everyone had the opportunity to read over the September 2nd public hearing meeting minutes and the regular meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have our departmental reports, starting with Fire Department.
Mayor, Alderman. The month of September 2014, we had a total of 258 calls. It consisted of 5 structure fires, 29 fire alarms, 3 vehicle fires, 3 grass fires, 4 hazardous materials calls, 22 motor vehicle accidents, 168 medical calls, 8 canceled en route, and 16 non-emergency miscellaneous calls. Our average response time was 3.2 minutes. Our total water consumption for the same month is 3,700 gallons. To date, we've tested 325 hydrants. We're just getting started real good on that. We've got a lot of other projects that are going on. Of course, the weather's caught us the past few days, so we have had some increases, though, I will say, and I don't know if I haven't talked to Kyle or got to talk to Dietz or anybody yet about it, but we are seeing some increase in PSI and flows over in the Summit View subdivision. I don't know if that's contributed to what at this point, but we are seeing better flows from those hydrants over there for whatever reason. So that was a good thing. Those were kind of low flow in that area. So whatever they've been doing out there, it seems to be working. I also like to announce that we now have 11 new CPR instructors. We're going to start out with the city employees. I know we've been waiting on this for a long time. Assistant Chief Clark was able to get the ambulance service to come up and get us the rest of our training done. So hopefully we'll be able to get this get all the employees through CPR and AED training, and our goal is to be able to, out at our training center at 3, to be able to open this up to the public so that they can come in. The only cost that will be involved will be for the actual card itself, because we don't print those. We have to get those from somewhere else. So that would be the only cost that they would incur. And we get a lot of requests for that. People that run daycares, home health nurses, it's good for everybody to know how to do CPR and operate an AED. So that's my report. Any questions?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe this was a record-setting month.
It was a record-setting month. 258 calls. In my 31 years, we've never answered that many calls in a month. As you said, saw in the report, 168 of those calls were medical first response calls. That's actually probably a lot of from us. Our medical first responder program has bloomed. Assistant Chief Clark actually talked with Rutherford County EMS today. 9%, I think, was that right, Chris? 9% of the call volume for the entire county is run in Laverne. So
Wow.
Having this program in place, it's a big difference in having medical help in 3 to 3.5 minutes versus 6 to 10 minutes. It makes a huge difference to the citizens here. So, as I said before, to me, it's a necessity. Our city is not as little as some of you all said during your debate. No, this is not little Laverne anymore. This is a budding community. There are a lot of things that are correct. It's growing, and we have to be able to keep up with it. So,
Good job.
I got some questions for 3 of you probably.
okay.
One is, could you explain again
why you're adding on to the fire hall?
I can't. Actually, I've had several inquiries from the public. I think social media has hit me pretty hard over it. I never claimed to be the smartest person in the world, but I can assure you that I did not order fire apparatus that was too big for a building. If you remember back during the retreat last year, we started talking about a new concept called Quint Concept. That does away with our current concept of running an engine company and a ladder company to one piece of equipment versus two. The new equipment that's been ordered are Quint Concept. They're Quints. In doing so, one of the biggest reasons is the biggest cost that you have in your any department or any business is payroll, your personnel. Obviously, benefits, payroll itself, just it goes on and on and on. PPE. In order to run a conventional concept to get full credit from ISO, you need 10 personnel with a engine ladder concept. With a Quint concept, you get the same maximum credit for 4 men. Do the math. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of saved manpower. In doing so, we have a lot of zero lot line. You remember back in the day, I complained about it at the time I was acting fire marshal. I actually fought against zero lot line. We have a lot of zero lot line properties in Lake Forest. When you start building like that and you're building on hilly areas, our current aerial apparatus is not even capable of reaching a lot of our second stories on some of those structures in that subdivision because they don't have the reach at 55 feet. These are 75-foot Quints. It gives us the extra reach to get to second floors of these structures and to actually just reach the roof lines of some structures because they're on these hilly zero lot line properties. So the explanation for the addition on the fire station, that was not something that we come up and said, hey, we've ordered these trucks and all of a sudden, oops, we ordered them and they're too big. When we sat down in the retreat to begin with and we looked at going conventional concept again, to order new apparatus, to replace old, outdated, and by the way, we're at $108,000 on 3 trucks right now for this year in maintenance and repairs.
Just repairs.
But back to the subject of that, we didn't not know that the trucks were bigger. We planned for an addition of Station 3 to have to be done if we went Quint Concept. That has been in the plans from day one. It was part of our bond issue to do that addition on that station for those Quints. Station 2 was built to house a 100-foot platform. It's big enough to house the 100-foot platform. We probably will be coming back to you. We do need to put a wider door in the back of that station. We've got some quotes back on that already. It's a nominal cost to put that in there, but we'll be able to run 3 pieces of equipment out the rear of that station instead of 2. So that'll be something else that you hear. It's growing pains. You have to also understand, the fire department was privately owned until January 1st of this year. The board here could not help or control what type of fire stations were built. I can tell you Station 3 was not built for the future. I was there for it. There were concerns. It was elected not to build that station for the future. Thus, we are adding a 9-foot additional link to the bay area only. It's not living quarters, it's bay area. So to explain that again, this was not something that just popped up. This was in the plans all along. It was part of the bond issue that's out to pay for the apparatus, to pay for the building addition. The building addition is $123,000. We still have some other hurdles that we're going to go through. You probably see us next month coming back in here and talking about a sprinkler ordinance that's in place and has been in place. It is not the new residential sprinkler ordinance. It is the old ordinance over any building over 5,000 square feet. That building is now over 5,000 square feet. So I will be back in here to talk about the sprinklers.
The next one's for Chief Culberson. I'm going to let you have Bray.
Yes.
It's kind of been insinuated that we hire people that aren't qualified. Could you explain the qualifications of the guys we're hiring?
They had to have at least 64 hours of the basic firefighter recruit class. They had to have all the FEMA certifications. I'm going off of memory. They had to have extrication. They had to have current CPR and AD. And there's some more, and
So these ain't brand new firefighters that didn't
No.
have nothing.
we had 200, and I believe I'm correct, Ms. Smith can back me up. We had 281 applicants. We interviewed or sent 83, I believe, to the agility test and interviewed all 83 that passed the agility test. And it was an incredible pool of talent. We had them as far away as Monterey, California. No, we did not hire unexperienced firefighters.
And my last question will be for Chief Clark, because he does
gotta get you
he's out there
all
on the
up
street
here.
more than you.
Well, I know. You know, he is Ricky's favorite son.
Yeah. Could you explain why y'all are doing so much training? I mean, is there a point at which you get trained completely and you just stop?
No, it's just, as a paramedic, we always have to have continuing education. You never stop learning. We review the basics, we review the advanced techniques, we use multi-company drills so the guys and girls can work together. We have kind of game plans as far as when they get off the truck, what tasks that they're going to perform as the vehicles arrive in unison. There's just multiple, just their medical alone. They have to have, myself as a paramedic, have to have 30 continuous hours in 2 years. And hazmat, you have to have a minimum of 8 each year. These are standards that are kept, you know, here local, state, and national. And so continuing education is paramount to us. We want to make sure that they know their job and know it well, and it's always reminders. I'll give you an example today. We were out laddering roofs. And tonight we're back in the junkyard training. So these are on-duty staff that are currently doing and performing these tasks. We have in-services that brings in the whole shift, probably about once a month, and we train as a shift. Quarterly we have in-services, and so that training goes on and on and on and on, and we have to touch bases. Fire services expanded, medical, vehicle rescue, hazmat, confined space, you name it, we have to know about it. Same thing with law enforcement. They have to do the same continuous education as paramedics, and so we're all working together to make that work.
And I guess my last question, 3 of you, whoever wants to answer it, how many extrications have y'all done since you took over?
We've had 4.
4?
And 4.
And you spent how much on equipment?
It's right at 50,000.
And so 4 extrications take roughly 15 minutes?
I think we've had.
No, sir.
I mean, seriously.
Well,
I know the
we've
difference,
been fortunate the last 2 MVAs on interstate. To give you an idea, both of those vehicles were extricated before I could get across town, and that's the honest truth.
So it's very minimal man hours that we're spending extricating where y'all would be anyway.
Correct.
Okay.
Engine 2 had 2 on the interstate here. Unfortunately, we had 2 fatalities on one of them. The other one was a severe critical injury that they were able to extricate, like I said, before I could get across town. So you're looking at 7 minutes maybe at the most by the time they do their size ups. They've done very well. I'm very proud of them. You have to remember that these guys have come from different backgrounds or different places. We've been doing extrication for years and years and years and years and years. So this is nothing new to us. However, we're the priority agency per se. So.
And I mean, in a lot of your training, there's different types of equipment. So they're learning to use what they have here, because you've got guys that use different stuff.
There's a multitude of models, makes, brands. I know that some of the guys that, Marcus Harney, which is our captain, he's from Giles County, they used Hearst. And we aggravate each other what brand they use and things like that. There's so much camaraderie in the stations. But they've come together well. So, you know, to get the feel of those type tools that we use, particular brand, That's not really the case. The case
I
is
know,
we've
but
got
it's-
11 new guys and 11 volunteers. And when we look at it as a team concept, they got to learn to work together. Not necessarily on techniques or how the tools work so much as getting used to each other. And if this guy's over here doing this, then I should be over here doing that. So it's more of a logistical thing than it is anything. And they're out there tonight.
I just wanted y'all to clarify that because I've heard a lot of comments.
And one more. Prior to us taking over the fire department, your firefighters were trained in extrication.
Yes, ma'am. This is my 31st year, and I've been trained since I was 18. I'm 45 years old. So, yes.
I mean, I guess between the three of y'all got cumulatively, what, 80 years worth of experience?
We've gotten a lot of questions. As I've said, it's an election year. We get a lot of questions when it's an election year, even more so now that we're the new adopted child of the city. So obviously, we're being gotten from all different directions. I've heard everything, even with the station remodel. I had a lady stop. I was in my pink shirt, so it didn't say chief. Bless her heart, she stopped and wanted to know why we had to shut down a fire station for a remodel that was unnecessary. Little did she know, we're running that apparatus out of the rear of the station. Not only that, but we're housing our communications personnel in that station. So we're going above and beyond right there. But we have a total of years of experience in our department currently right now with the 49 personnel that we have there, with our new 11 and our volunteers of 333 years of experience there. We've been doing it a long time. Just, it's not necessarily that we were doing it in Laverne, but we've been doing it in other places. As they said, Marcus Harney, one of our captains, shift captains now, was the chief in Giles County Fire and Rescue. You know, Mr. Wisniewski back here. He is a volunteer, Rutherford County volunteer fire chief. So we're bringing good people into the community to help protect the citizens of Laverne. So yes, it's not something new to any of us.
I think y'all are doing a fabulous job. I
I
just
do
wanted
too.
to clarify a few things for people.
And with that being said, we did a little spreadsheet here a while back. We did it for Old Timers Festival with a new PR tent and all. We have, and I will once again, our doors are open. Station 3 is under construction, but our doors are still open. It is the citizens' fire department. Come and see us. I have a spreadsheet for our budgets that Ms. Phyllis has helped me work on from now until 2021. It's a projection. There's no way for us to know next year or the following year what might occur and what we might have to do, but we have that projection there to show you. It also runs through the contractual agreement with the private fire to show you, because it was going to terminate at the end of 2021. It shows you the difference in the breakdown. It shows the savings. So our doors are open. Please come and see us. There's some what we do, Laverne Fire Department pamphlets that we've made laying up here in the front. We have those. I'm more than willing to run them off and give them to whoever wants to come by and visit with us and see us. Come to any of the stations. There's one of the three of us at one of the stations just about any time, or come and see the firefighters. Talk to them. You don't even have to talk to one of the chiefs. Talk to our personnel. The doors are open. We want people to understand where their money is going and what for, because we don't expect the citizens to understand how we operate and what we do unless they can talk to us and see it firsthand. When they see us, it's generally a bad day. They really don't want to talk numbers to us at that point. So come by when it's not a bad day and talk to us and let us show and tell you what it is that we do every day with your tax dollars. The doors are open.
Ricky, Chris said earlier that he had junkyard training. Now I'm out of the junkyard business. Now y'all doing training in the junkyard.
Well, they kind of let us in the
I
back
appreciate
gate.
that,
So,
Chris.
yeah, we've cut up quite a few cars in the past month. So,
And I
yeah, probably.
just want to thank Express, Tim Tallman, because they've really
We have
helped y'all,
wore
babe.
Tim out. We've wore Tim out, keeping cars moved around because we ask for him to be certain ways, and we get really difficult for him in stacking them up and stuff. So he's been really good to help us
y'all to
out.
put your own lock on their gate so that you
Exactly.
can get in.
Yeah. He actually did do
practice
that
at
for us.
night.
He's a good guy.
Just remember that this is just part of company drills. We use different topics. This one is a hot topic. Some of our more frequent type calls. And the new guys, the volunteers, and the old guys, Core 25, they need that bonding time together to make sure that those moves. And real briefly, that's my background. I come from Rutherford County EMS from 20 years of, and the last 8 years I was over their special operations, which we did technical rescues. Also, vehicle rescue, technical vehicle rescue was in that. I ran a heavy rescue unit. This is something that's not new. It's not a new concept. So I just want to make that clear that that we're out training and doing what we're supposed to do.
Proud of all
I
of you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank y'all very much. Police Chief.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman, since my other brothers in blue took up the time, and we ought to probably go down to Phyllis, I guess, by now.
I did. I'm liable to come up with something for you too. I don't know yet.
One of the things that I want you to take a look at is the document that's up on the screen. We were able to get information finally for the first time in a while from directly from the criminal offenses that are actually reported to us and then entered into the Tennessee Incident-Based Reporting System, or TIBERS, as it's affectionately called at TBI. And if you'll notice, there are 7 of the Group A offenses that indicate for the first 8 months of this year through August an increase. One of those is forcible fondling. Another is destruction, damage, or vandalism. Different things are grouped together. Then fraud from impersonation, shoplifting, theft, all other larceny offenses, which is anything and everything you can imagine, from picking up a cell phone that belongs to somebody else to grabbing a bicycle from a front yard and taking off with it, anything and everything else that is a theft as such. And then 2 of them down near the bottom are drug narcotic equipment violations and pornography, obscene material, which are actually officer generated. So those numbers are based upon officer actions that are there. There are several other things there that will increase a little bit more from the officer generated because of investigations that are ongoing in some areas, and I won't get into those, but I will have you take a look at the green numbers. Now the green, they don't look green on the screen, but they're in green. Anything not highlighted with orange is a decrease. So as you go through the first 8 months of this year in 2014 compared to 2013, there's an overall 19% decrease in the criminal offenses been reported to the Laverne Police Department. In the first 3 months of the current fiscal year, July, August, and September, we answered and responded to 6,875 calls for service in the first quarter. 2,314 in July, 2,432 in August, and 2,129 in September. We have currently 5 vacancies that we announced for. We had 176 applications that were submitted for 5 vacancies, actually 4 at the time. We have a young man that left, his last day was last Friday, Cody Murphy. And Cody has a brand new baby girl, and there's another baby girl that he's raising as his own. She is his, he is her daddy. And Cody had an opportunity outside of law enforcement that he chose to accept with Middle Tennessee Electric. Wow. He'll be working, he'll be off every weekend and every other Friday, working day shift with comparable benefits and about $5 an hour, a little over $5 an hour more for working there. I don't blame him. I understand. I told him his family comes first, and that's what he has to think of. but I also told him he had a place if he wanted to come back home someday, because Cody's an awful good young officer, an awful good young guy, young man. We have a lot of things going on. I didn't wear my pink shirt tonight because I wore it last Thursday night, but we do have our Cops for a Cure shirts. For those who haven't seen it, on the back it says, Laverne Police Department wants to put the cuffs on breast cancer. And we feel very strongly about it because I don't know many people who haven't had either a neighbor, a friend, an acquaintance, a family member, a coworker like us, who has experienced breast cancer. And this is the month for the national recognition for the awareness of breast cancer, and hopefully all the ladies will take heed and do the regular checkups. I encourage all of you strongly, no matter how old you are. We've been there at my house going through some of those, and there are some here in this audience that have been through, and others here who have family members and friends and so on who have been through it. So we encourage you very strongly. We do have those shirts for sale by the Fraternal Order of Police, not the police department. But the FOP will be taking any request for one of those pink shirts. We'll all wear them a week from tomorrow on duty. We can't actually get away with wearing a non-uniform type item like that, like fire can on a regular basis, because they have to see the badge and the blue and the other stuff. But we're going to wear those next week. Every member of the police department, both sworn and non-sworn. A lot of things are happening. A lot of things are going on. Things are really cranking up. They're coming tonight to finish doing our furniture and dispatch that accommodates all of the new radio consoles and CAD RMS consoles, et cetera, et cetera. And they should be finishing that up. That was done with police impact fees, not out of general fund. And they should be finishing, and hopefully we'll get the dispatchers out of the hair of Station 3 and get them back over here, because it is difficult with officers having to come in so often and pick up copies of paperwork, warrants, etc. And there's a lot of difficulty with parking, and we had to chastise ours. They were coming over and blocking up the back end, and had to explain to them that doesn't occur. You mentioned something a minute ago about training, though, that I want to add to what these gentlemen have said. Not only have they trained within, they've also trained with others, us included. And that is a necessity in today's world. One of the first things, the very first value that we have at LPD is professionalism. We cannot be professionals, whether it's fire, EMS, law enforcement, et cetera, et cetera. Anybody in public services cannot be a professional if we don't constantly train. You wouldn't dare take a football team, put it together, soccer team, basketball team, girls softball or volleyball team, and put them out there to play a game if they didn't practice together. It's required. In order to be a good ball team, you've got to practice. That's what we have to do. That's why we do it constantly. When ours gets to a life and death situation, it's more than just winning a game. You can't afford to lose. And when you talk about those young guys and gals going home every night, that's the one thing they have to do at the end of every shift. That's why we train and train and train. So I support what they're doing tremendously, and just let you know that's a whole lot of folks around here doing a lot of training. But we've got to. We owe it to the citizens we serve to give them the best we have.
Absolutely.
Any questions?
I want to point out that y'all go on pretty much every fire and ambulance call. That's not something some of the neighboring cities do, and I appreciate it.
Well, there's a reason for that, and I think everybody here probably ought to understand there have been several occasions over the last few years, and Vice Mayor, you know that as well as anybody. We've talked about it before, and so have Ricky and I. There have been a lot of calls recently where there have been EMS personnel and fire personnel who have been called to a fire call or an EMS call, such as in Atlanta, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where people were taken hostage, where people were even ambushed and killed. including firefighters, responding to a fire call. The guy set his house on fire and then started picking off the firefighters when they got there. No law enforcement was there initially. So, yeah, that's something we need to do. And to say, well, this is Laverne, we only have 34,077 residents that live here in the city according to the 2013 estimate by the U.S. Census Bureau. But we have issues here like any other location. And we've got some folks that aren't necessarily those who might need to be out walking around every day, to be honest with you, who are really out there. And that happens in every community. So yes, we go and we're going to continue.
And I appreciate it. I've learned recently that there's some neighboring cities that do not do that.
No, they don't. They don't.
And I mean, we all know 911 calls can come in as one thing and be something completely different. And I appreciate you taking care of all the firemen.
If we know about it, if people will call us and tell us about things, we usually work on them.
Very good job.
Any question? Thank you.
Proud of you. Codes?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. The report for September 2014 is as follows. Single-family dwellings, there were two permits issued, and I might add these two residents will be the first that you'll see sprinkled in this community. So they are not running from us. They've graciously accepted the fact that they're going to be sprinkled. So we have issued two, and then there's some coming in the month of October that you'll see in November. Commercial, there were 4 permits issued for commercial properties at a cost of $2.1 million investment in this community. Miscellaneous permits, there were 13. There were 2 signs, 1 grading. Others to include additions and remodels, there were 6. Commercial plan review, there were 4. Total number of permits this month were 28. Total monthly revenue was $13,085.50. Plumbing permits, there were 2 single-family dwellings, 3 commercial. Mechanical permits, there were 2, 3 commercial. Complaints called in, there were 263. Tall grass, junk cars and yards, there were 5. 16 others. Building inspections this month were 145. Fire inspections this month were 30. Inspections year to date were 197. Road impact fees, $7,271. Year-to-date totals was $118,315. Park impact fees were $622. Year-to-date totals were $23,636. Police impact fees were $547.74. Year-to-date totals were $13,000. Monthly revenue with impact fees was $21,526. Year-to-date total was $278,775. Total number of single-family permits issued year-to-date are 84. This time last year, there were 28. Total number of all permits this year-to-date have been 293. One other thing I want to add briefly, just give you an update on 598 Forest Ridge. I'll be coming to you next month with an estimate to demolish and tear down. We currently have an invitation to bid on our website. We have had some interest in that. Had a few estimates that were early on that I thought were a little bit more than what I anticipated, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But so we did put it out on bid sheet, and there is an invitation to bid. Opening will be before the end of the month. On that invitation to bid, we'll choose a suitable contractor and come to you with a request that we can spend that money to go ahead and get that taken down and get it resolved so that the community knows, the neighbors out there know that we are working towards getting that cleaned up and gone for them.
Good.
Any questions?
No, but I'd like to let the citizens know, we had one come in earlier, that if you have a complaint about your neighbor and you don't want to call one of us. We'll file the complaint for you. I file complaints for people all the time.
And we'll gladly take an anonymous complaint. I mean, I know that, sometimes you're hesitant to call about a neighbor or something because you don't want repercussions.
Because you live beside them.
So-
Feel free to
so-
call any board member. We'll file the complaint, and that's what it's gonna look like filed it. Nobody will ever know you did it.
Right.
So don't be scared to call us.
Absolutely not. We'd like to preserve that. I mean, in a lot of cases, I don't even ask a name of who called, or just as long as I know that where the property location is and some of the specifics about that, that's all I need to know. That's all any of us need to know. So,
But I just wanted to let citizens know they can call us, and we'll file that complaint for you. Nobody will ever know it.
absolutely. I'd like to give a little bit of a shout out to Miss April Lawrence this month. She's worked diligently towards getting some properties that were mowed, and one in particular out on Murfreesboro Road that, if you'll notice, that it's not a coincidence that it's done right now. We've been working to get that mowed all summer. And it
It's
has
awesome
taken,
looking.
it has taken
Looks
all
great.
summer long to
does.
get that area cleaned up, and it's that way now, and it's gonna continue to stay that way even through the spring of next year,
In
so.
9 years, that's the first time I've seen that mowed.
Well, that's a classic example of what we aim to do as far as trying to clean up a lot of the areas that have been neglected. It took a long time to get that done, and it took a lot of man hours to get that to come to fruition. But you know, we set court dates, and a lot of those owners out there did not want to have to come to court. So we were able to get them to successfully do what we'd been asking all summer long.
And y'all are doing great. You're making the city look better.
Thank you, sir.
Just
Thank
by
you.
mowing that right there
Thank you.
attracts people. It's not the eyesore.
Well, it
anymore.
shows the depth of that lot. I mean, if there's an interested big box store that wants to see that lot, now that they can see the exact
big
depth,
lot. I didn't
the
realize
size
how
that
big
it's
it was.
enormous.
It's huge.
It's huge. So, you know, anybody driving up and down through there will realize the depth and the size of that lot. It's big. Any
Looks
questions?
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Parks and Recreation.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Aldermen. There's our numbers. I know it's kind of hard to tell with that orange color up there, but at least that's what I was told anyway. It's been a busy month for us, as it usually is. We had a grand total of 29,952 visitors and roughly $17,160 in revenue. Fall ball and baseball, softball, and football is in full swing, and it sure is easier having that athletic coordinator position. That has been fantastic. It really has freed up some stuff, and she's doing a fantastic job as well. Parks and Rec Advisory Workshop on this October 20th at 6 p.m. We have a Senior Citizens Advisory Committee meeting on Thursday, October 16th at 4. And don't forget our annual Trail of Treats is coming up at the end of the month, October 25th from 2 to 4. So everybody that wants to bring a booth and pass out some candy, come on out and do that. It's a lot of fun, and be sure to dress up in your costumes. Also, we have our first ever drive-in movie was supposed to take place tomorrow night, but due to the fact that looks like some pretty severe weather coming in, we don't want to do that, and CYM Productions does not want to do that either. They don't want their big screen to be blown away. So fortunately, they were able to, they had next Friday open, so we're just going to bump it back a week, and we'll have it next Friday at 7 p.m. in the same spot up in the front field at Veterans Park. It's still a drive-in, so bring your cars and your blankets, and we'll set up and we'll try it again next weekend. It's supposed to be good weather. I've looked, and unless something changes between now and then, it should be fine. So, any questions?
Good job. Thank you. Finance.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Alderman. Tonight's financial report represents 2 months into this new fiscal year, ending in August. For the general fund, expenses have exceeded revenues by approximately $501,000. Of course, we know that's because we haven't started receiving our revenues from property tax yet. Next couple of months will be kind of slow, and then we'll pick up some revenues for there to offset some of the expenses. Local sales tax, we've collected approximately $799,000 for the first 2 months. That's approximately $149,000 better than budget and $100,000 better than prior year. So we're doing really well with our sales tax collections. The State Street Aid revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $88,000. Stormwater revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $76,000. In the Water Sewer Fund, revenues have exceeded expenditures by approximately $755,000. The next page represents our balances in our various bank accounts. And the third page represents a comparison to prior year. For the general fund, revenues are up at $1.1 million, right at $1.2 million. Of course, $750,000 of that is the proceeds from the bond issue for the fire trucks, the Quints, and the renovation. Expenses are up approximately $629,000 as compared to prior year. We've got to remember we've added the fire department and a few other things along there, so that will make our expenses up. In the water sewer fund, revenues are up about $56,000 and expenses are actually down about $290,000 as compared to prior year. And tap fees are up about $63,000. Any questions?
Thank you, Phyllis. Ms. Donna, library.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman, good evening. For the month of September, we checked out 8,433 items. Attendance in the library, 8,608 with a daily average of 374. We issued 171 new cards. There were 51 library programs with an attendance of 2,433 people. The total computer users were 2,738. If you do notice the additional information, the number of items in our catalog, we usually have that between 68,000 and 69,000. You notice that it did jump to 75,924. We are so excited. That is our new e-audios and e-books. Those are the downloadables. So we're really, really excited about getting those in our catalog. We are going to be releasing that for patron use the first week of November. So very excited about our e-audios and e-books. Some highlights of September included our parking lot was coated, sealed, and striped. Yes, it looks so nice. You now know where to park. The library staff also enjoyed interacting with those who visited our circus tent at Old Timers Festival. Our children's library staff read to students at 3 local schools during Reading Schools Day. And the library received some great media coverage from Channel 2 during Banned Book Week, Celebrate the Freedom to Read. This month, the library invites the community to come out and visit our tent at Trail of Treats on the 25th at Veterans Memorial Park. And last but not least, I know you guys were always excited about this, the library staff is brewing up some treats for our annual Gross Grub that's going to be held on Thursday, October the 30th from 5 to 6. Wear your costume, come join us in the Storytime Room. You can get a taste of green swamp punch, mummies on a stick, my personal favorite, Bigfoot's boogers, and many more deliciously gross snacks. And if you've never attended our Gross Grub, put it on your bucket list and come and join us.
It's different.
It's different and fun.
Different.
Are there any questions?
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Donna.
you.
Water treatment.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman, Bruce. What I have is our report for August of this year, and the last page is kind of comparatively to last year. Actually, we just finished today with September's report, so it does take a while to get all our numbers in the right columns and double and triple check. There's probably 2 people that don't look over reports every month at the plant. We really take a lot of care with that. But our plant, we produce 81 million gallons of water this month, in August, I'm sorry. And our membrane unit was down because we actually cleaned out the lagoon that was there. This was done contractually by the city a couple years ago, and for the cost of right under $30,000. So we do this within 2 days, and we pump everything out, and it really costs right about $3,800 if you just had the extra expense. The labor's already there, so it's a good thing we were able to do that with the help of the city to clean it out that first time, but we able to handle it now. And a few of the technical issues we covered this month, we had more taste and odor complaints. So we like to go out, we try to educate the folks on their complaints. We had the one that arrived and her water smelled like sulfur. And come to find out, they used to be an old well user, and that sulfur just impregnated itself into the metals in the pipes. Every time the water got hot, she'd smell sulfur again. So it's just certain things we have to go there, investigate with, and then try to solve the problems with them. We had a customer who had black specks in their water. Some of our, I guess our experience and all, we're finding out that some of the older supply lines were made of a rubber coating that dissolves the inner lines of the lines, so you'll get black specks. And we get some, just calling kind of weird smell. They smell, the water smells like sewage. And a lot of times when they draw the water goes through the drain first, so the gases are coming up from the drain. So if they take the water away from the drain, they're not smelling the bad smells from it. So little things we can do to help out. It always pays off that we out there educating. And just the history of our chemicals there. We've been on the same chemicals now for 6 years. We changed in about 2008. Lake conditions change. That's why we have to keep up with the quality of the water, and that's why we switched from the one feed to we did back then. It just keeps us up with the times and the best treatment techniques. So we developed kind of a mission statement from the water treatment plant, and it's in our book. I won't take all that time to read it with my dyslexic, but we just really try to pride ourselves in what we do in a professional manner and do the right thing. But I guess that's about all I have. And we'll be there for Trail of Treats too at our tent, so come by Severn Trent and get the good stuff.
Just could you clarify? There's some misinformation out there. There are not certain days that you treat water. It's treated continuously. Am I correct?
You are correct.
Some people seem to think there's certain days that I guess y'all dump chemicals in the water.
No, we can't batch it up. We run, on an average, it's about 1,800 gallons per minute through the plant. That's 24/7. So each gallon of that water has to be treated. Each ounce of that water has to be treated. And we have just these certain perimeters we have to live within there, and it's a constant flow. Still water's not good. Running water is great.
So it's treated every time it comes in the plant?
Yes, every gallon.
I just wanted that put out there because, I mean, there really are some people that think it's treated, I guess, in the tank.
Yeah, we have to treat it far enough as to be able to store it for, the system holds probably at maximum maybe 3 days of water, probably not that much. But we have to treat it and disinfect it long enough to stay in the line. So we have to have enough chlorine in it. That's why some people, you might get the chlorine smell. It's really because the chlorine's lacking just a little when it does smell.
Yeah, I learned that this month by asking.
Yeah, and a lot of times in your shower, it'll get air in the water itself, and you'll get the chlorine gas that's coming out. So it's not pleasant all the time, but it has to live up to certain standards, and it's not always to everybody's likings.
Any other questions? Thank you, Thomas. Public Works. Doug, are you hiding right there?
Mayor Alderman, good afternoon. Mr. Russell had a small medical procedure and couldn't be here tonight, so I ask everybody to keep him in your thoughts and prayers. He is doing okay, but hopeful for a quick recovery. So just keep him in your mind. For the street department, they had a total of 42 brush removal request calls, 327 brush removal pickups, 20 brush removal loads, and average of, or estimated 70,000 pounds of brush removal. The workhouse program contributed to 376 hours this month. Asphalt was roughly 2,300 tons that they laid down. They was pretty busy this month with that. Mowing, 508 hours spent on that. That number will be dropping, and I know they'll be glad to get a break from cutting grass because they cut a lot of grass. Work orders generated 126 with a total of 54 hours overtime. The special project was helping out at Old Timers Festival. And also on that note there, the brush truck is back in service. I think Garland let y'all know it was down for a little while. Mr. Wendell's out there working extra hard and overtime to try and make his rounds get caught back up. I don't think he'll ever get completely caught up because there's a lot of brush, but he's working hard to get there. In the fleet department, there was a total of 41 vehicle repairs. 35 of those were made in-house. 6 were outsourced. Oil changes, again, 26, in-house 12, 14 outsourced. Looks like they did 3 brake jobs, 10 tire jobs, and had to make 10 repairs on equipment in-house. Any questions there? I'll do my best to answer.
Y'all are doing great.
Thank you, sir.
Getting people's insurance down with fire hydrants.
Yes, sir.
That's huge.
I think y'all are actually almost ahead of where you should be.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
They're gonna get done probably ahead of time.
the contractors are estimated, I think they wanted to be done by December. I think they will be with the change order that we're hoping that y'all will approve. That's just going, some areas that did get missed. Nobody's at fault there. It's just something that got overlooked. So we're going to add a little bit more that's going to help us down the road on the city side and fire department. But it's very short runs. It'd probably take them less than, maybe a week, less than 2 weeks to complete that.
You're doing a great job knocking them out, though.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
That and y'all getting meters in the ground.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to get to that next. We're actually about 6,500, Ms. Phyllis, I believe it was, meters that are installed now, with roughly about 3,500 left on just residential. There is commercial and industrial that we still have to get installed. But as far as residents, we've got not much further to go.
You're getting there.
Yep.
You're getting there.
And I guess I'll go to water and sewer now.
You're doing a great job. Keep going, Mike.
Thank you, ma'am. For the sewer department, we had a total of 85 work orders, 0 new meter sets, which I think we're going to start seeing that as Randolph had spoke earlier on the permits. We answered 198 Tennessee 1 calls. We had no mainline breaks. However, we did have 11 service line breaks, and a few of those felt like mainline breaks. They was really blowing. Estimated 66,000 gallons of water not sold. We had a total number of overtime was 89.5. And our special project, of course, is Project AMR with 502 meters installed for the month. That number will definitely be bigger next month. We did 400 this past week, again with the help of the fire department guys, and Allison has got a game plan going forward. We're going to try to start doing massive swap outs for the next few weekends and try and knock these things out and get them in the ground. So we're hopeful that that'll pan out. On down to sewer, we had a total of 109 work orders. Of course, those are always split between regular service calls and pump station calls. Most of those pump station calls come after hours, unfortunately. So we had 2 final grinder pump inspections, and we're able to rebuild 3 grinder pumps in-house. Want to see more of those, but we can only do what we can do. We're having a lot of them that we're testing that's been in the ground 10, 15 years, and the motors are just burned up, shorted out, and it's not feasible to break that old pump all the way down and rebuild it because it's probably going to be going out in 6 months. So we repair the ones that we think is going to last a while. And then with 66.5 hours in the sewer department overtime, and as well as helping out with Project AMR.
Very good.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you. Human Resources, Michelle.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Aldermen. I'm pleased to present the report for Human Resources for last month. We had 6 external jobs posted with 142 applicants. Year-to-date total 1,134. There were 49 job interest cards for a total of 704 year-to-date. 2 resignations, 1 workers' compensation claim, 68 care here appointments, 328 care here enrollments, 352 dependent lives covered, employee lives covered 200, for a total claim dollar amount of $180,852. And I am pleased to announce that we will celebrate our first employee in what we call an health, safety, and wellness fair on October the 29th. We're excited. It's going to be a great educational opportunity for all of our employees to participate, as well as their family members, and we will have local vendors as well as a lot of our local folks here that we work with as far as our vendors are concerned, and they're going to educate our employees. And our theme is It Matters in Laverne. So safety, health, and wellness is very important to all of us. Also, our current benefit broker, the Highland Group, we have a current RFP process going. We're looking at new carrier services and looking at our current carrier program. So we are in preparation for our open enrollment for benefits for all of our employees for next month. Are there any questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right. Mr. John, do you see our royalty out there? Here's them. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a very special treat tonight. We have royalty among us. And first, our royalty, Little Miss Tiante Reynolds Foster. If you'll come toward me. And stand right up here. Beautiful. You'll stand up here and face them. Our next royalty is young Miss Kyra Jackson. Stand right there and face that crowd and show them how beautiful y'all are. Next, we have our royalty, Junior Miss Emily Bowe. I gotta get out of the way here. And last but certainly not least, our 2014 Miss Laverne, Jade Lawson. Beautiful, beautiful lady. These ladies will be serving us for the next year. They'll be in attendance to a lot of, hopefully we'll have some grand openings and trail of treats, and I think we're just very well represented with these beautiful young ladies. And we want to thank y'all, and I'm sorry it took us so long. We had some, winded directors here. But thank y'all so much. Thank you, thank you. Give them another hand. Precious bunch. And I will say, this was the most fun group at that high school this year. We actually had a blast with this group of kids. They were so much fun. Now it is an honor. We're going to talk about our Employee of the Month. This lady is such a precious, precious person to this community. I have never seen so much love in her heart, so much care. Yes, she does work. It is considered part-time. But I assure you, it is 29 to 30 hours a day instead of 24 in her day. She and another one we'll get to later, they donate time. They cook for our seniors. They cook at home because they want the food perfect for their seniors. And they just feel they don't have enough time in the day on Friday because they love their seniors. And they will tell you that's their babies and you better not mess with them. So it is truly an honor to introduce to you our Employee of the Month, Miss Melissa Cooper. Yes. Ooh, you sporting in your boots too. City of Laverne Certificate of Appreciation is hereby granted to Melissa Cooper. For your dedication and hard work for the City of Laverne, the city hereby recognizes you as Employee of the Month for October 2014 and thanks you for the excellent work you do for the City of Laverne. We love you. And we love your food. We love that banana pudding, don't we, Chief? Mr. Pierce, would you like to come forward, please? Next, we're going to do our proclamation for Red Ribbon Week. City of Laverne, Office of the Mayor, proclamation. Whereas communities across America have been plagued by the numerous problems associated with illicit drug use and those that traffic in them. And whereas there is hope in winning the war on drugs, and that hope lies in education and drug demand reduction, coupled with the hard work and determination of organizations such as the Young Marines of the Marine Corps League to foster a health, drug-free lifestyle. And whereas governments and community leaders know that citizen support is one of the most effective tools in the effort to reduce the use of illicit drugs in our communities. And whereas the Red Ribbon Campaign was established by Congress in 1988 to encourage a drug-free lifestyle and involvement in drug prevention and reduction efforts. And whereas October the 23rd through the 31st, 2014, has been designated as National Red Ribbon Week, which encourages Americans to wear a red ribbon to show their support for a drug-free environment. Now, therefore, I, Cena Mosley, Mayor of the City of Laverne, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim the week of October 23rd through the 31st, 2014, to be Red Ribbon Week in Laverne, Tennessee, and urge all citizens to join me in the special observance. I have to set my hand on this the 9th day of October 2014. Thank you, sir, and thank you for all your help. Thank you, sir. Just a couple more. We got a little more surprises ahead. This one is a Mayor's Community Service Award, and I think we kind of snuck this in on a couple too. We have a dear couple for senior citizens who go above and beyond for this senior group. They go and pick up the seniors. They're always down there, and let me tell you something, she can dance too. And she's taught me how to do the two-step. You can tell the love when you walk into this place. And I tell you, they're a prime example of what we have here. Mr. and Miss Henderson, would y'all please come forward? Thank y'all so much. In sincere appreciation of your support to the City of Laverne, Tennessee, and its Senior Center, it is a pleasure to present this Mayor's Community Service Award to Diane and Merlin Henderson for your generosity on behalf of members of the Laverne Senior Citizens. Thank y'all so much. Thank you. Boy, Cassie, you're getting a lot of dirty looks tonight. And last, but certainly not least, this lady also has so much love in her heart, and one cook couldn't do it without help. And let me tell you something, they're always there. I don't care what we're doing. They're there with a smile on their face and love in their heart. And let me tell you something. I'll have to say, you too I personally think you too have helped to make the senior citizens what they are today. Yes. Amen. Miss Linda, put that there. recognizing the professional, compassionate, and outstanding service on behalf of the City of Laverne, Tennessee, it is a pleasure to present the Mayor's Distinguished Service Award to Linda Tomlin for her dedication, exemplary work at the Laverne Senior Center. They love you and we do too. And yes, we're kissing up because we like their food.
You got that right.
Oh, that's the fun part. Okay, guys, we got to get down to business. Old business, second reading, ordinance 2014-21, an ordinance to amend the Laverne zoning ordinance as it pertains to signs. Received a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on August 26, 2014.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Our consent agenda items we discussed in great length at the workshop. Do I have a motion to approve or to deny?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Under new business, Stormwater Appeals and Advisory Board. And before we start on all of these, I have just got to tell you, I have never, in the 4 years I've been here, seen such qualified people apply for these boards. It was absolutely phenomenal looking at these applications. And I just want to thank each and every one that applied for these boards. And if you didn't get a board tonight, I guarantee you, I've already told Bruce, keep yours on top. We're going to get you one way or the other. So I just want to say thank y'all for everything that you've done. First would be the Stormwater's Appeal and Advisory Board. I would like to recommend, as y'all all know, Mr. Kenneth Perkins was over our stormwater, and he did take another job elsewhere, but he does live in the city and would like to remain on the advisory board. So I would like to recommend to this board Kenneth Perkins.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have our Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. There is one vacant slot. And Mr. Broker, I'm going to turn that over to your recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. There's three very qualified. I think I'm going to go with, and again, I believe we may have some openings down the road, so if we could hang in there, I'm sure we can get everyone aboard. But I'm going to go with Selena Hanley.
Selena?
Second.
Okay, I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have the Construction Board of Adjustment and Appeals. We do have one term vacant, and we have an applicant who is more than willing to step in for us, and that is Miss Teresa Hess. I would like to recommend her, please.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next is the Planning Commission, and again, like I said, we had phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal applications. We do try to keep all of our boards a good and diverse board. At this time, it's all males except for myself, and I did have two very good applicants that were females. I am going to go, I did a lot of research, I read, and the reason I am going with the young lady that I'm going with, she does have certificates for paralegal, she has some degrees, she has some engineering behind her, and I think she would absolutely be a perfect fit. And I am going to add Miss April Bach to the Planning Commission.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, we have the Beer Board. Again, phenomenal people. I did review over resumes, and I'm telling you, the two applicants were I just wished I had another spot just to add them. Can we just add one more to the board? No. But at this time, I'm going to go with Lou Sullivan for the Beer Board.
Second.
Have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
And the Local Emergency Planning Committee, we will be adding TK Cast.
Who?
TK, he's the director over the Emergency Management Agency.
Okay.
So, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. All right, welcome aboard, everybody, and I again want to thank everyone that submitted applications, and I assure you, you're on top, and you're not going anywhere. We have boards open. We're going to get you on here. Number 7, first reading, ordinance 2014-22, an ordinance to amend the 2014-2015 fiscal year general fund budget for changes to the Parks and Recreation Department staffing.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 8, Resolution 2014-29, a resolution to adopt the 2014 home program policies and procedures for the city of Laverne.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution 2014-30, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an amendment to the ground site lease agreement with SBA Communications Corporation for the cellular tower located at the water treatment plant.
Mayor,
Yes.
at this time, we would like to request this item be deferred. It does appear that they are willing to make the changes, but they were unable to get that done by tonight, so we'd like to defer this until next month.
Okay.
Motion to defer.
Second.
All those in favor of deferral?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Number 10, Resolution 2014-31, a resolution to accept Pinnacle Point Subdivision Phase 3. This did receive a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on September the 30th, 2014, and all punch list items have been taken care of.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I second.
She seconded.
Seconded. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 2014-32, a resolution of the City of Laverne Board of Mayor and Aldermen to declare certain property owned by the city to be surplus to the city's needs and directing disposal of the same.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 12, motion to approve a rental agreement with CYM Productions for a drive-in movie at Veterans Park on October 17th, 2014.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 13, motion to continue negotiations with Windstream KDL, Inc. to approve a right-of-way agreement for the placement of poles on Jefferson Pike.
Mayor, you'll recall on Tuesday there was discussion about this right-of-way issue, and as you know, I've gone back and forth at least one round with the folks on working on this agreement, and you heard the explanation from Cal about some of the risks involved with going along with this project, and so I just basically wanted to know from this board whether or not you want us to continue to try to talk to these folks, or whether it's not something you're interested in doing.
I'm just not really comfortable about me personally, because this is something that we've not traditionally done. I think it should be possibly between them and maybe the landowners themselves. I'm seeing you agreeing with me
Yeah,
there.
I just, before we went further into it, I sort of got the sense Tuesday that there may be some reluctance, and so I just didn't want to work with these folks, and you know, if the board wasn't interested, so it's your call.
Motion to deny it.
I'll second.
Let's do a roll call. Alderman Green. Vice
Aye.
Mayor. Alderman Waldron.
No.
Alderman Roper.
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Yeah, I'm just not real comfortable with the way this is. Okay. Denied. Okay. First reading, ordinance 2014-23, an ordinance to amend the 2014-2015 fiscal year state street aid budget for additional paving cost.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Wow, is that it?
That's it.
Wow.
I do
Down
too.
to mayor and alderman comments. Alderman Green, start with you.
Don't have a thing.
All right. Vice Mayor?
Fire prevention. Clean your chimney.
We are trying to get together to, we started talking about it this afternoon, we're going to try to have an open house at Station 3 on the 18th of the month.
Fabulous.
We'll get it out, we'll get it to Kathy and all, wherever we'd like to try to open the station after that.
Okay.
Y'all got any
Excellent.
smoke deflectors left or getting rid of?
Actually, we did find a few, I know a bunch of people were asking for them at Old Timers Festival. We ran out there, but we found some more in the station, so if you come by Station 3, we do have some that we can give away. We're also working with Evans still on getting on the state program, and if we can get that through, get Evans to approve it, get council to approve it, not only with those, we can get a free detector, but the fire department will come out and install those for you, so we're still working with Evans on that.
Excellent. Chief, I know you.
And this Sunday, don't forget, is Fallen Firefighters Memorial Day. So everybody remember those who
It's a big month.
made the ultimate
Okay.
sacrifice.
I didn't know that, and that's Sunday. Okay. Thank you, guys. Alderman Waldron?
The only thing my father sold the business, the auto salvage business that's been in the family for 65 years, and I want to thank the people of Laverne over the last 55 years for supporting us, and Laverne has been good to my family there. My father raised 6 kids, and I've raised 2 kids there, and it's been 5 generations that's worked there. And other than the Tennessee Farmers Co-op, it's probably one of the oldest running businesses left in Laverne, and just I hate to see it go, but I think it's going to be a good thing. So I just thank everybody for patronizing us and letting us do business there for so long. And that's it.
Alderman Brother?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Well, I would like to finish this out. October 2014. It's been a great ride. Directors, employees, y'all are the best of the best. And y'all have made these 4 years what it is. Y'all have brought this city to the top of the line. And it's because of all of you working hard and making sure that your employees are working. And in working, they're working their hearts out too. And I just want you to know, for this 4 years, it has been an honor, a true honor, to be a part of the family sitting here. And as we go forward, always remember, y'all are the best of the best. And I want to thank you. And with that, I'm going to close this meeting.
Hang on. I want to add, since this could be our last meeting. Y'all, we're still going to be there for you. Whether we're here or not, I'm still going to be right there beside every one of you.
Yes.
From now on. Because y'all are all like family to us.
Yes. And like I said, y'all are best of the best. And thank y'all all. I'm going to close this meeting.